What is up? Steve here. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you are doing well. I want to go over a handful of things today. The first thing is statistics on new home sales in the month of April. The second thing is mortgage demand. And the third thing we're going to talk about is a recent interview with Ivyzellman regarding her take on home construction, which could be I think it's going to be very interesting, needless to say. Before we get into it, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I am just a dude with a beard on YouTube on the beach in Southwest Florida. It is a damn beautiful day out here. I prefer to be on the beach right now, but I prefer to be with you guys for sure. You know what the problem with the beach is? Beer. I mean, I feel like the beach and beer just kind of go hand in hand, and if you guys can comment, let me know what the perfect beach drink is. I would appreciate it because I think I got to lay off the beer a little bit. I'm kind of sick and tired of the treadmill and running on the beach. It gets a little rough. All right, let's move on. All right, so I'm going to reference all these. They should be in the description, by the way, everything that I'm talking about, and hopefully they're in the description. But let's first talk about the report on new home sales. New home sales posted a double-digit percentage decline in the month of April, down 16.6%. It's the weakest pace in 2 years, with the National Association of Home Builders citing rising mortgage rates and worsening affordability conditions for the drop. Year to year, new home sales down. What do you think? What do you think new home sales are down year to year? Almost 27%. And trust me, you want to stay tuned for the Ivyzellman interview. I watched this video. I linked it for you guys. I was kind of shocked in terms of what she said. All right. The volume of signed sales contracts significantly declined in April as the cost of purchasing a home increased in 2022 as interest rates surged higher. Interest rates have jumped tremendously, so everybody's purchasing power has been just decimated. I mean, people are paying $300, $400, $500, $600 more per month, and when they're finally able to lock their rate in for new construction, I mean, people are backing out, and it's telling. So it's unfortunate, but that is the world we're in. We're not able to keep mortgage interest rates, as low as they have been forever. It just doesn't work like that. So people are feeling it. National Association of Home Builders cites another indicator of deteriorating affordability conditions. Particularly the entry-level market. A year ago, this is very interesting, 25% of new home sales were priced below $300,000. Okay. In April, that share fell to 10%. So a year ago, if you want to buy new construction or entry-level market, it was under $300,000. Now, less than 10% under 300,000. So the problem with home building is we just can't, it doesn't make sense for home builders to build that small of a house right now. And so affordable housing is pretty much gone out the window. Anything that's smaller and more affordable is going to be a resale. And obviously the institutional investors have been gobbling those up. I foresee when these institutional investors are not getting the necessary yield that they're expected to get for whatever funds or whatever hedge funds that they're in, they will start to sell off these homes. But another thing I'm predicting, and we will see what happens over the next couple of years, but I think that a lot of these larger homes that are being built, we're going to see a big influx of just massive homes, big homes, I'm saying, that were built because of the economics of building. I think we're going to see a lot of these homes come to market, and a lot of people are not going to want these larger homes. And I think a lot of them are going to sell at really good prices in the future. So keep an eye out on that. I think there is something to that. Also, if you have comments, questions, whatever, drop them in. We'll talk more about what you guys are thinking as well. The April drop for new home sales is a clear recession warning, says National Association Home Builders chief economist Robert Diaz. So they're calling a recession. There's a lot of other talking heads out there calling for a recession. I think that the more that we see people talking about housing crash, housing bubble, recession, more bad talk about stocks going down, crypto going down, it's going to be the opposite of FOMO in terms of fear of missing out. I think we're going to start seeing liquidation as well. All right, the next article is pertaining to mortgage demand. I'll blast through this really quick. Mortgage rates turned lower for the second straight week. They dropped down a little bit, but it wasn't enough to boost demand for either new purchase loans or refis. According to Mortgage Bankers Association, not only did mortgage rates tick down a little bit, but also the cost. Usually they'll charge a origination fee, so even the cost was brought down slightly, and that wasn't enough to really increase demand for new applications for mortgages. Refinancing activity is down 66%. Obviously, I think anybody that is refinancing right now, if you know anybody that's refinancing right now, please go ahead and text this video to them and tell them, just watch out, because I think a lot of refis that are going on, if there are refis going on, it's probably a cash out refi, and it probably means that that person may be in some sort of trouble. There's other strategic investors that'll do cash out refis and then utilize those funds to go ahead and buy more real estate or whatever the case is. But in many cases, people are just doing cash out refis, utilizing their home as an ATM machine, and now they're paying much, much, much higher mortgage interest rates on cash out refis. Also, I believe in many cases too, your cash out refi as opposed to just a regular refinance. So like, let's say you owe $200,000 and then you refi into another $200,000 loan. That's one thing. But when you do a cash out and you're pulling, say, you're going for a $250,000 loan, pulling 50 grand out, usually your interest rate is even higher on a cash out refi. So keep an eye on that as well. Applications for a mortgage purchase home were flat week to week, and we're down 16% from a year ago. So that's pretty significant. I mean, obviously it'll help in a lot of markets that are that have very limited inventory, and we're starting to see that shift. We're starting to see more inventory come to market. We're seeing more pending sales with back on market coming in Florida anyway, in Southwest Florida. We're seeing it here. And also we're seeing price reductions. I'm seeing a lot of price reductions, and I'm actually starting to see price reductions on homes, comparable homes that are coming in lower active available inventory. They're coming in lower than previous sold even a year ago that were selling. So we're actually starting to see in some communities prices start to dip below what properties were selling for a year ago. And I will go through the MLS and start showing you some of these as well. All right. The Ivyzellman interview, I put that into the description for you guys. Take a look at it. It's a pretty quick interview. I think it's like a 5-minute clip. I just want to go through basically 5 bullet points of what she talked about, one of which I'm like, little sketch. But I want to talk about these real quick, and then we'll talk about some of the stuff that you guys are talking about in the comment section. Again, thank you so much for being here. And again, if you guys are getting value out of this, please text this video to somebody. Just one person. That's it. Just one person. That's all you need to do. All right. So Ivyzellman, if you guys don't know who she is, she founded the leading housing research firm, and basically they have like a proprietary software system where they do these mass surveys to all these home builders and pretty much anybody involved in the real estate industry, and they survey a lot of them. And I talked about Ivyzellman in the past as well on other interviews, other articles that she's done. And she's got a lot of people that rely on her for this data, for this research. So she's definitely well known. Also, she was ranked top top 100 most influential women in the United States. So she's again, she's relied on for her information, for her research. Excuse me. All right. I just did a video before. By the way, it's going to launch tonight. It's called the hell did I call it? That's why my voice is a little scratchy. It usually is scratchy. How to buy a house without being house poor. Some really good tips in there. Even if you own a house, take a look at that. It's going to launch 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. Anyway, so she was asked, what are you seeing? April survey showing home builder demand starting to moderate. Affordability is the biggest issue. Obviously, we just talked about that with mortgage interest rates. I did other videos as well on new construction and how people are backing out. So essentially, if people were not able to lock in their rates and they were relying on and they were running all their financials and everything else, based on 3%, 3.5%, and now they're like 90 days out from CO, certificate of occupancy, when the house is going to be complete and they can actually close on the house. And now they're running numbers at 5.3%, 5.5, 5.7. I mean, that's a significant increase in interest, that mortgage interest that somebody's paying. So obviously affordability is just crushing people. And I did another video too. If you're in that situation, I forget, I'll try to link that for you guys as well, but it was pretty good. Basically just some tips if you're in that situation right now, what you guys want to do. She said that there's a tick up in cancellations, obviously, and a tick up in the incentives. I did another video on this, and I said I predict that we're going to start seeing home builders come out with a bunch of incentives depending on where you live. Obviously, every market's different. I mean, I get some people, some yahoos, not you, but other people on this channel, like, my real estate market here is insane. It's so red hot and this and that. I get it. Every market's different. Calm down. But the uptick in incentives. So if, talk to these sales rep, see if you talk to them and find out how busy they are. Some are just going to be like, oh, it's very busy or whatever. But if they're asked them straight up, are you guys offering any incentives? And if they are, then there's some motivation there. So some of these incentives could be credit toward your closing costs. It could be upgrades. It could be a free pool. It could be a finished basement, whatever. So ask. It does not hurt to ask, and don't be afraid to walk away. Step up and walk away. That's when you get better deals if you're patient. She said backlogs of multifamily and single family and build for rent currently highest level since 1973. Backlogs. Okay. Now, this is where things got really interesting. 1/3 of the backlog is speculative, as builders didn't want to commit due to supply chain issues and inflation. Okay, so what was happening? You basically have bottlenecks where, builders are, you cannot get your certificate of occupancy without certain things in the house. So it depends on your zoning and government entities, but some houses you can't get a CO unless you have a garage door. Some are, you can't get a CO if you don't have appliances. Some are if you don't have, I don't know. There's certain things that a builder needs in order to CO. And with supply chain issues, a lot of builders were just not able to get certain materials to finish the house. And so they're just at a standstill, kind of like the car market with the shortage of chips. These cars are just sitting out there waiting to get the chips, so then they can install the chips and then sell the cars to some were actually in contract, so that people are just waiting. So they couldn't drive off the lot without the chips. By the way, a buddy of mine, he's in the car industry. He was saying don't buy between certain dates. I forget what it is, like 2020 and 2024. And I'm not a car guy in any sense, but he was saying that basically these cars, they're built, they're put together and everything else, and then they're waiting on the chips. And then when they get the chips, what the people don't understand. It's not like one chip goes into one vehicle. Sometimes it's hundreds of chips. So they have to take apart these cars and then install the chips and torque them a second time. And I guess a lot of times cars are supposed to be torqued one time. And but this is causing issues with, he predicts it's going to cause issues with vehicles. Vehicles are going to rattle and things are going to come undone and everything else. Anyway, off on a tangent right there. And then obviously inflation, the cost of things. So builders didn't want to commit. So builders are like, okay, we're selling these homes right now for $350, but inflation, the price of lumber, the price of windows, the price of doors, everything's increasing, and they committed to a $350 price and maybe didn't have any kind of escalation in their builder contract. And then they could lose money on some of these builds because a lot of the builders don't have huge profit margins either. So, they want to make sure that they're profitable so that they basically didn't lock in a price for a consumer. Before everything was insane, you could go into a new home community. It would still be a vacant lot. You lock in your price. You kind of know what's going on. You might be a year out, 8 months out, but you locked in your price. You're good to go. The builder will build it. You'd have your price. You close. But with inflation, the cost of everything going up, as well as supply chain issues, some of these builders are probably losing or their profits were severely reduced. So that is why we're seeing 1/3 backlog is speculative. The problem with that is everything that we just talked about. You have everything with basically the cost of financing. So, when these properties come due and they're ready, there might not be buyers for these properties. And I think that that's just one part of our real estate market that may start to assist in changing and more inventory coming to market. So time will tell. And I think probably over the next 6 months, we'll probably start to see more and more new construction come to market, and buyers actually have some more leverage with these builders. And then her last point that I got out of the interview was seeing standing inventory and slowing in certain cities. And exactly, standing inventory is exactly what we just talked about. I think, again, we're going to start seeing a lot more of that. All right, let's get into some of your comments. And I know you guys are busy on this Wednesday. In the beginning, I talked about what's a good beach drink because this beer belly can get fierce sometimes. So CJ Stock said seltzerias from Corona, 6% alcohol, 130 calories each. I'm going to try that. Was lost during the 2008 recession. Existing home prices fell to dirt cheap. We will see house prices during the coming recession fall. Will we see to the fall of 2008 home prices? If you haven't heard of a guy named Harry Dent, he's a very interesting guy. He's on YouTube. Take a look at that. He's predicting we're going to see basically 2010, 2011, 2012 prices again. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that aggressive I think we're going to see prices come down before pandemic prices, and probably more than that. I did another video, and to back this up, I did another video on what was going on before the pandemic in terms of real estate here in Southwest Florida anyway. And I at the time, I owned other properties and everything else, and I was reducing prices. Our market was just kind of limping along. It was not, and that's where I'm so confused of, like, when people are like, oh, we have such a shortage of houses. I'm like, we don't really have a shortage of houses. I don't believe. I think we have a shortage of houses that are not on the market yet. So I don't think it's a shortage of houses, and we're building like crazy right now. So I think we're going to see a lot more inventory come to market. Will it go down to 08 or 010 bottomed out prices? I don't know. I don't think so, but who the hell knows? I'm wondering if it'd be better off to have an RV that I can do some boondocking. Yeah, I mean, if I was single without kids, I'd be in an RV just chilling probably. There's some nice freaking fifth wheel RVs that you can really, really be comfortable at with multiple slides out and everything else. I mean, that could be a cool lifestyle. Hunker down for a year or two. Impact coming Chinese invasion of Taiwan, world economy. I think yeah. I'm not gonna get too political here, but I don't think the United States is looking too strong at this point in time on any of that. Kate Cab and hopefully builders will complete the builds they've started to help with inventory for us buyers waiting on the sidelines. Or Cato Kane, sorry about that. Yeah, I think so. And again, I think we're going to see more and more builder inventory, especially with mortgage interest rates rising. If the Fed raises another 50 basis points in June, we could probably anticipate rates going higher, which is going to further push a lot of people out of market. I personally would rather pay a higher mortgage interest rate than overpaying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a property, especially if I'm in a position where I have to sell the property. That's just me. Other people are like, hey, if I got a low interest rate, I'm willing to pay whatever the price is. But if you got to get rid of that asset and you're upside down, you're kind of screwed. CJ Stock sold my house from renting a cheap apartment for a year. Yeah, we're doing at least 5 months, and we're gonna reevaluate after that. We'll reevaluate in probably November-ish, and see what happens with the market at that point in time. Don't get me wrong, I'm still looking around. We're still gonna be making offers on stuff, but they're gonna be low offers. Fusion Density, The Great Crash, Apocalypse Survivor. Everyone give them a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Thumbs up, I think, helps. And sharing this video helps as well. Samantha, same with RVs. I was told don't buy one until or built after 2018. Yeah, true. I mean, anything where there's a huge rush. By the way, if you're gonna buy an RV or a travel trailer or something like that, or even a boat, man, I think hold out, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that are financing these things. And I think we're going to see a lot more of them come to market because people are going to get rid of the non-essentials. And not to mention fuel prices. We sold our boat with this condo on the lift back there. And right down on the water over here is, a restaurant where we can fuel up. And the cost of fuel on the water is insane. Just to go out for a good day on the boat, you're talking $150 if you're making some distance, so it gets expensive quickly. So Crow, Steve, I'm 30 days away from closing on a $500,000 home, 4.99 DR Horton and Gulf Breeze. Do you think it's a bad move? Perfect timing for me. Just don't want to making a huge mistake. Everybody's circumstances are different. I mean, if you feel comfortable with your payment and everything else, and you're going to be there for a long period of time, then don't feel good about your purchase. Don't I always think that people just need to you're taking on a lot of debt, and you just got to make sure you got income stability, job stability. You're going to be there for a while, and you're going to enjoy the hell out of it and not have any regrets of buying that property, whether it's too small or not the right area or whatever the case is. So I'm not here to say, hey, back out of your contract in any sense. Like, enjoy the hell out of it, and you probably will. And there's a lot of cool brand new communities coming up with insane, especially here in Florida, just insane amenities and resort style pools. It's like, yeah, enjoy it, Benjamin, any chance you could give some insight on Dallas? Feels like there are more homes available, but everything is still 20 to 30% overpriced. I think people, thanks for the question, Benjamin. A lot of people are asking specifics on specific areas, states, or whatever the case is. My recommendation, if you have any questions, is call around to local real estate agents, but good ones, like good ones that are going to give you the truth and give you stats and give you some backed up information on that specific area. Because I think it's important to have boots on the ground with people that are feeling it, experiencing it, selling it every single day. And yeah, I mean, if you feel it's overpriced, then it could very well be. And could prices come down? It absolutely could happen as well. The last thing you want to do is get in a position with a house where you're upside down and you need to sell. That is the worst possible position you could be in. Again, as a real estate broker, we did a ton of short sales. A lot of people were in devastating positions. Over 50% of, I think it's closer to 60% of divorces are caused by financial hardship. And we saw a lot of that when people are not making as much money, layoffs and everything else. We're seeing more layoffs right now too. So be careful of the job that you have. Make sure you have job stability and you're comfortable with the company that you guys are working for or working with. Eat Right Guy, do you see house price going below 200 in Cape Coral this year? I don't know about this year. Look, in any market crash, you know what, it takes 6 years for the last crash to bottom out. So the real estate market is not like the stock market where overnight it just drops and bottoms out. That didn't fly. So it takes time. Like, I think our market will go down. How much? Don't know. When? I think it's starting to happen already. But it's not like we're going to get fantastic deals, in 2 months from now. Could it happen? Sure. Could it happen? Let's throw a little caveat in there. If the Blackstones of the world or some of these other large institutional investors start to liquidate single family houses and some of their inventory, that could expedite things. Let me just put it that way. And why would they do that? Because they take on debt, and a lot of times their debt is floating or it's in short-term debt and will adjust. And when they don't make the specific yield that they need to make for that fund, then they need to move that money, and they don't care about how it would be devastating. They care about getting their return, taking that money and reinvesting it. And especially if they can invest it into something like the U.S. Treasury or different equities, that is a lot less risky than real estate, a lot less management intensive. They will, in a heartbeat, liquidate and start selling off properties. They won't sell off, tens of thousands at once. They could, but they'll be strategic about it. That could be a wrench to look out for in terms of an expediting quickness of values going down, in my opinion. Again, just my opinion. Bearded guy on YouTube, only my opinion. Take it for what it is. Thanks for the content. Thank you, So Crow. Chicano Aztec, tequila, water, gin and tonic, whiskey on the rocks. I like it. I don't know about gin, though. Gin. Art Ziegler, hey, bud, how would you rank quality of homes offered by the larger home builders here in Southwest Florida? Heard bad things about quality of Lennar, DRR, and good things about Neil and Toll Brothers. Thank you. I think whenever, and we saw it with vehicles as well, whenever we're looking at anything built in mass quickly, we're going to find issues. So as a real estate broker, if you're buying brand new construction, I'm telling you, get a home inspection. Why? Because they're blasting through these homes. And so a handful of guys that I personally know own home inspection companies, and they post on Facebook, and you can see pictures of what they're inspecting, brand new homes. And prime example, not too long ago, one of the home inspectors posted a brand new house, and it was basically done. They're like, it's done. Go ahead and do your inspection before you close on it. No insulation in the attic. And we live in Southwest Florida, and it's probably like 92 degrees right now. That house, I mean, for anybody to walk into that house with the AC on and maybe not feel it, or when the AC kicks off, or you can, and anyway, things like that happen. And anyway, when people are building in masses, whether it's a car or anything, making anything in masses, you're going to have screw ups. You're going to have things overlooked. So I think it happens a lot unless you're doing like a custom home build where you got, one company that only does, 6 big houses a year or something like that. Then you're probably a little safer because you're paying more attention to the build. So I think all the big builders they're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. Slyn, we respect your opinion. Thank you so much. And hey man, any insights on Ponte Verda area in regards to overbuilding? Lenny, I don't know, man. Again, I suggest just call 6, 7, 8 different real estate agents and just say, look, I'm in the market to buy in this area. What's your take on the market, and see what happens. Sam, what are you doing? Jeez. Sam, I know Sam very well. It's my wife's sister. She just dropped $4.99. That's ridiculous. I don't know why you're doing that. Anyway, thank you very much. I owe you. But yeah, she said referrals for real estate agents. We do have a team here. So if anybody does need a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida, we are more than happy to help you guys out. We have good people that will be honest with you guys. Anyway, when you guys are talking to real estate agents, get their honest opinion. If they're like, the market's hot and this and that, and they're just trying to sell, and you're not feeling comfortable with that person, whatever, say thank you for your info and then go on to the next one. Just call. Also, a good source, honestly, is like Facebook, where you can put a post out and say, does anybody know a good real estate agent? And you can have, friends and family refer you guys agents that they've used in the past. So it's important to get a lot of different opinions. Like even right now, you're watching a bearded dude on YouTube, and you should not be just relying on my opinion. You should be looking at multiple opinions. That's why when I do these, I want to go through multiple different articles, multiple different videos, multiple different perspectives on things, and see what people are saying. I just watched the George Gammon video. If you guys have not heard of that guy, check him out. But he's super, super bright guy. And he was talking about the institutional investors today. And I don't know if it came out today or whatever the case is, but it's important to get a very broad perspective of people. So if you guys are in the real estate market, buying, selling, whatever the case is, be sure that you guys definitely talk to multiple real estate agents and try to get the truth out. Chasing Beaches, thank you, Sam, super helpful. D Trent, hi guys and gals, what's up? Yes, I'll be needing a real estate agent in Florida. How do I get a hold of you? Samantha can probably send her email or one of our emails. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. If this helped you out, go ahead and share it. If you could, you can text it. It's real simple. And tonight, again, at 6 o'clock, video on how to buy a house without being house poor, because I think, damn it, a lot of people need to not be house poor. They need to figure a way to pay their mortgage off, become financially free, and they will live way, way better and less stressed out. That's what I want for you guys. Thanks for being here.